I want to welcome everybody to the August 13, 2018 Montgomery County Commission meeting. I'm going to ask that Sheriff Busan call the meeting to order. After that, please remain standing for the pledge led by Commissioner Nichols and the invocation by Commissioner Creek.
All rise. Oh yes, this Honorable Board of County Commissioners is now in session pursuant to adjournment. Now may God save this state and this Honorable Board of County Commissioners.
Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our Father and our God, we thank you for your love and your watch care. We thank you for this legislative body and what it means to Montgomery County. We thank you for those commissioners that have served on this legislative body, and we just pray that you'll guide and direct them in their future endeavors. It says in the Bible, in Matthew 5, verse 16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Just guide and direct us now, for us in Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Ask that everybody register your attendance. Ms. Jackson, could you call the roll?
You have 20 present, 1 absent, but we will also make the note that Commissioner Riccone is our Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. First up on the agenda is the approval of the July 2018 minutes. Is there a motion? Motion, Commissioner Gannon. Second, Commissioner Butts. All those in favor, please register your vote. Register your vote. Mr. Hodges here. Ms. Jackson, could you register the vote?
You have 20 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
I'm sorry, did anybody want to change their vote? All right, now we register the vote. First on the agenda is Director House for Clarkson Montgomery County School System update.
Good evening, Commissioners. Good evening. It's amazing to think that it's been a year since I stood before you and you all welcomed me to Montgomery County as the new Director of Schools. So I'm excited to kick off the 18-19 school year. Very excited. We've got quite a few things. Before you, you'll see it's about the size of a placemat, and we should have it up on the screen as well. But I'd like to share with you what our strategic work is looking like right now. We're like I said, some very exciting things that are going on. And while I won't go over everything on this document, I would like to highlight a few things as well as some data to share with you this evening. And one of the things that I did over the course of the summer, which I don't know that it was very exciting, but I got bifocals for the first time. So I'm getting adjusted to looking up and looking down, but so bear with me this evening as I get adjusted to my new bifocals. As you'll see from right to left, and before I get started, I do want to thank those commissioners that will be rolling off of the commission. I really appreciate the service, the support, as many folks in Montgomery County do. Let's give them a big hand for their service. Starting from right to left on the monitor and on the document that you have in front of you, you can see that we've identified 4 specific areas in the school district that we're focusing on. And before we take you there, you can see at the very top, our mission is to educate and empower our students to reach their potential. Our vision is for all students to graduate college and career ready. And that's just not lip service. Our focus is to ensure that our students graduate college and career ready. And we are looking specifically at the data that tells us what this looks like. We know that 60% of our students move forward and graduate and move on to colleges and universities across the state. whether it be Austin P, Middle Tennessee State, 60% of our kiddos are moving on to universities or wanting to focus their efforts on higher education. Another 40% are wanting to focus their efforts on looking at the job market as soon as they graduate. So I'll be explaining to you what that looks like and what the opportunities are in front of our students to ensure that they have great opportunities right out of high school if they choose not to move on to universities and colleges. The first item under our strategic work overview is to improve student achievement. And I'm not going to go through every one of the items, but I want to highlight just a few. The first one is providing resources, improving student achievement, which of course is extremely important. And under improving student achievement, providing resources and supports to meet students' social and emotional needs. Now, this is a big item. As I went to every elementary school, every middle school, and every high school, the one thing that was a theme last year and having conversations with parent groups, having conversations with principals, students, were the social and emotional needs. A lot of our students come with baggage that we need to support them with. And this has been lifted up as a major, major piece. One of the big holdups that we find with many of our kids is that they don't have the right insurance to receive support, whether that be the kind of counseling support beyond school, social and emotionally. So we've purchased our own in-house supports so we can ensure that students have these services right out of the gates. So we're extremely excited about what this looks like. It's a huge investment that we've made during the strategic budget process, and we're excited about the direction that we're moving forward. Now, I mentioned earlier 60% of our kiddos are moving on to universities and colleges. About 40% of them are moving on and wanting to be in the job market right out of the gates. The fourth item there says strengthen our portfolio of academic offerings. We started a couple brand new schools this year, and you might ask yourself, how in the world are you starting brand new schools when we are running out of capacity in our buildings? Well, we tried to strategically think through exactly what we could do. And we found some of the current seats that we have in the school district and started schools within schools. We also partnered with an organization like TCAT. And TCAT, we started a brand new school on the campus of TCAT that will allow juniors and seniors that want to attend this program to essentially get their high school equivalent. So get all the credits they need to graduate from high school, but at the same time, from a 10 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. school day, they can actually get certified in particular areas at TCAT, diesel mechanic program, HVAC program, and the list goes on and on. So we're excited about what this looks like. We're starting small. Again, we don't have the overhead of a brand new school building. We're partnering with TCAT, and they've given us one of the facilities, a standalone facility to house that program. So we're looking forward to it growing exponentially over the course of time. I also mentioned the language immersion program, or a school within a school. That school within a school is our language immersion program, and it's actually at one of our elementary schools, and we're excited about it. It's at Barksdale over on Madison, and language immersion is an opportunity for students to be, during their kindergarten year, immersed in a brand new language. By the time they finish 5 years or 6 years, K through 5, they'll be completely bilingual. And we know what the brain research says for students that are bilingual. I actually have a nephew that went through a similar program, and it's incredible to see that as a freshman, he's working at the courthouse and doing some things in reference to the language that he has acquired. We're also excited about new programs and partnership with Austin P. We have a Japanese and Korean program that we've kicked off at Clarksville High and at Rossview in partnership with Austin P State University. Now, on top of improving student achievement, one of the things that's extremely important is getting data back. So we all know that testing is something that happens in the state of Tennessee on a continuous basis. We also know that we've had some woes in the state of Tennessee. This past year, we saw our high schools that were testing online see some serious issues. 4th through 8th grade didn't see the issues simply because they're not online. So we're working through those issues right now. I actually have an opportunity to meet with the state commissioner on this coming Friday to give some feedback around some of the data that we're starting to see that's coming in and what that will mean in reference to student achievement. The second category at the top is maximizing employee capacity, and I'll highlight one particular item here, and that's boosting our social media presence for employee recruitment. On top of that, we have a brand new website that we're excited about. It's very easily accessible for those that want to apply for particular positions in the school district. It's a much more efficient process. It's amazing to see what's happening across Montgomery County and, quite frankly, across the United States in terms of social media. So we're utilizing that to touch base with parents, to keep parents informed. We understand that it's we have to have a strong presence, and we'll continue with that presence. The item right below that is engaging the public in support of student achievement as well. Last year, I spent time getting around to as many civic organizations, nonprofits, churches as possible to really tell people what's going on in Montgomery County. We will continue that work and look forward to ensuring that the community understands that the feedback that we get from them is feedback that we take back and make a part of our strategic work and our strategic process. The last category over there, I'll highlight one item from it, and it's improving efficiency and effectiveness. And the item that I'll highlight here has to do with addressing school capacity. As you guys know, we have really worked extremely hard on this. One of the most immediate things that we focused on is the support that we received from the commission. And that support allowed us to move forward with major projects. 3 of those additions at schools, Barker's Mill, Northeast High School, Northeast Middle School, and Minglewood. So we literally have projects that are going on right now where we're adding on to schools. Again, 3 additions that are 12 classrooms, 1 addition that will have 10 classrooms. We should be finishing those 4 projects within the next 5 months. We'd like to have children in those buildings within before January. Just in reference to enrollment, to give you guys an idea, we are growing. And the last 2 years, we saw about 2,500 students that were added to the Clarksville-Montgomery County School District. That trend is continuing. Just in the last week since we've been in school, we've seen about 650 kids more than what we had last year. Now, our official count will continue over the course of about the next 40 days, and then we'll come back and let you guys know, or I'll update the mayor or chief of staff and let him know exactly where things are. But that trend is continuing to go up. Now, one question that commissioners have had over the course of time is how many mobile classrooms that we have out there. Currently, we have about 77 mobile classrooms. And of course, the goal is to eventually get as many students out of mobile classrooms and into buildings or facilities as possible. And that kind of leads me to my last point, which is the Land Acquisition Committee that we have in partnership, of course, with some of the commissioners that are serving on that. We've worked closely over the course of the last 6 months to a year on what additional properties that we could possibly look at so that we can go beyond. We do own 1 property at Kirkwood, of course, and we have it in our bandwidth to utilize. Our hope and expectation is to be funded with architectural funds this coming January so that we can get the process starting. We'll start also marketing to the community during the second semester to let them know that in 2021, there will be a major redistricting. We're wanting to not do any redistricting until that time. We know that families have had to move from school to school, and we want to keep families put where they are and do one major districting a couple of years from now, make sure families know ahead of time exactly what's going on and what's to come. So with that being said, I'd be glad to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Director House.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gildersleeve, will you meet me at the podium, please? Commissioner Gildersleeve wasn't here last week to receive his proclamation, so we're going to do that tonight. Proclamation by the County Mayor. Whereas Monroe Gildersleeve was elected to the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners representing District 18 in 2014 and served throughout August 2018 for a total of 4 years in Montgomery County Governmental Services as a County Commissioner. And whereas Commissioner Gildersleeve served his district in Montgomery County faithfully and diligently and contributed invaluably to the total deliberations of the Board of County Commissioners, having served on the Audit Committee, Library Board, Loss Control Committee, Personnel Advisory Committee, Purchasing Committee, and Veteran Service Organization. And whereas Commissioner Gildersleeve's departure from the county's legislative body will be a huge loss to the citizens of Montgomery County, and whereas it is appropriate that suitable recognition be made of this citizen who gave so much of himself in service to his community, and whereas we wish Commissioner Gildersleeve good health and happiness in the years to come. He will definitely be missed by friends and fellow commissioners. Now, therefore, I, Jim Durrett, Mayor of Montgomery County, Tennessee, on this 6th day of August 2018, and on behalf of the citizens of Montgomery County, do hereby express appreciation to Commissioner Monroe Gildersleeve for 4 years of loyal and dedicated service to Montgomery County government and the Board of County Commissioners. Okay, we are into our zoning resolutions. First is CZ 13, 2018, application of Don Tinsley and Lisa McCain from R1 to R4. This was deferred from June. Is there a motion for approval? Commissioner Hodges, is there a second? Commissioner Redd. Does anyone like to speak? Commissioner Sokol.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe it was the intent of the applicant to go ahead and defer this to next month, and I would like to make that as a motion to go ahead and defer to September the 4th.
So we have a motion to defer this until the September, which would be the date certain. Do we know that date?
Did he say 30 days? That amendment needs to be changed to October 15th. I believe the applicant requested a 60-day deferment to work with the citizens within that community.
So we have a motion to defer until October 15th. Is there a second? 8? Informal on the 1st. We'll get there. We'll get that date eventually. October 1st. Is there a second? Commissioner Gannon, please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Which I remembered this time. Ms. Jackson, will you tally the vote?
You have 18 yeses, 1 no, 1 abstention.
Thank you. Next, under zoning resolutions, CZ 16, 2018, application of Mary Cope from AG to R2D. Is there a motion for approval? Commissioner Harper, is there a second? Commissioner Hodges, please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, will you tally the vote?
You have 20 yeses, 0 no's, 0 abstentions.
Next, under our regular resolutions, Resolution 1881, resolution to amend the budget to accept joint grant funds from the Bureau of Justice Assistance of the United States Department of Justice. Commissioner Vallejos, and second by Commissioner Butts. Any discussion? Please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, please tally the vote.
You have 20 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Next is Resolution 1882, resolution authorizing the acceptance of grant funds from the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. Is there a motion for approval? Commissioner Tooley, motion for approval. Second by Commissioner Gannon. Any discussion? Please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, will you tally the vote?
You have 20 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Next is Resolution 1883, resolution to enter into an agreement with, this resolution has been pulled. So 1883 has been pulled from the agenda. Next is Resolution 1884, resolution authorizing the acceptance of state grant funds from the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Motion for approval. Commissioner Brockman, is there a second? Commissioner Tooley, any discussion? Please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, will you tally the vote?
You have 20 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Next is Resolution 1885, resolution approving the economic impact plan on behalf of the Clarksville Hotel and Conference Center plan area. So motion for approval, Commissioner Keene, second by Commissioner Albert. Any discussion? Please register your vote. Ms. Jackson, please tally the vote.
You have 20 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Did anyone want to change their vote? Thank you. Next is Resolution 1886, resolution requesting the state of Tennessee and the Tennessee Department of Transportation to install walkways, sidewalks on a portion of Trenton Road in Montgomery County, Tennessee. Is there a motion for approval? Commissioner Hodges, second. Commissioner Vallejos. Any discussion? Please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, will you please tally the vote?
You have 20 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Next is Resolution 1887, resolution to provide additional funding in the amount of $75,000 to Two Rivers Corporation, a foundation according to 501c4 of the Internal Revenue Code. Is there a motion for approval? Commissioner Gannon, is there a second? Commissioner Keene. Any discussion? Commissioner Redd.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to say real quickly that I'm all for the Two Rivers Company, but I don't believe giving tax dollars to a 501c or 501c4 is the role of government, or at least the proper role of government, and especially considering how it is set up by the Tennessee Code annotated. And I believe our tax dollars should be used for the police and schools and other departments. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Redd. Any further discussion? Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Just as a matter of clarification here, there were some ideas thrown around last week about possible avenues that we could do for the downtown commons that would not include giving these additional funds to TRC. And honestly, you're going to have to pay the money either way, as far as I see it. We can either go ahead and continue to fund TRC this time and fund a group that already knows the park inside and out. They know what programming works and what doesn't. They know the history. They know the demographics. Or you can do nothing and allow the investment that we've made in the downtown commons to deteriorate into nothing. Or we can hire a different agency to come in and do it. Now, I haven't done the research on this, but I don't think anyone else has either. How much would that cost? There was also a statement made about turning over the downtown commons to Park and Rec. Well, if you do that, we still have to buy everything that's needed, and we have to pay overtime for the Park and Rec employees to take on the extra work. So we either, as far as I see it, lose our investment or we pay the money out in another direction anyway. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Harper.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like to make a motion to defer this resolution until the September 4th meeting to give the new commissions an opportunity to weigh in on it. I think it's only appropriate.
We have a motion to defer until September 4th. Is there a second? We have a second by Commissioner Wyant. We are going to vote on the motion to defer and only the motion to defer. And we have, first we're going to have discussion on the motion. It's on the motion, Mr. Gannon, Commissioner Gannon?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner
I
Gannon.
think that this commission should vote on it. I think it should not be deferred. We are the ones that voted in the park, and we are the ones to ensure its success in there, especially for the ones that are leaving and the ones that are staying. The new commission's got enough on its plate. I think it's our responsibility because it's our park and we're the ones that voted it in and started it.
Thank you, Commissioner Gannon. Commissioner Redd, speaking as to the motion.
Well, I concur on the amendment. I'm against the amendment. This is my last meeting, but I'm here to make the decision and not to put it on the other ones coming into office. Thank you.
Okay, we are now going to vote on the amendment and only the amendment. Please register your vote. Ms. Jackson, will you tally the vote?
You have 2 yeses, 18 noes, and 0 abstentions.
So the amendment fails, so we're back to the original resolution, Resolution 1887. Any further discussion? Please register your vote on the amendment, on the resolution. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, will you tally the vote?
You have 12 yeses, 7 noes, and 1 abstention.
Thank you. Next is 1888, resolution to amend the budgets of various funds for fiscal year 2019 in certain areas of revenue and expenditures. We were given an exhaustive list of that. Is there a motion for approval? Commissioner Brockman, is there a second? Commissioner Tooley, Commissioner Albert.
Need to make an amendment to the cleanup resolution. It came to our attention last week after viewing that historic Collinsville when it was presented to the budget. Back during the budget process, there was a amount, as you all can see in your paper here, $46,000 that was somehow overlooked. It did not officially get voted on in the budget cycle. So we're asking that this 46 be added to the cleanup resolution because without this, they really can't continue without this funds to help maintain and get it up and going. And then they should, after hopefully this year, they'll be on their own to fund this amount.
I'm going to do this one and the other one. Do we need we separate these two or do them at the same time? We'll separate them. Do we have a second already? No. Do we have a second, Commissioner Gannon? We are voting on the amendment to the resolution. Please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, will you tally the vote?
You have 20 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Commissioner Albert?
Also, I'd like to make an amendment to deduct from the cleanup resolution as items. It's listed in the handout that was pertaining to the Fort Campbell Animal Care Services. Do I need to read all these into the minutes or just go by the paper identified?
Ms. Jackson has copies of those account numbers, so I think it's sufficient that you don't have to
Okay,
read those
thank
out.
you. I put that in form of a motion.
Is there a second? Commissioner Genus? Any further discussion? Please register your vote on the second amendment. It's nice, he tells me right there if I look. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, please tally the vote.
You have 20 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Now we're going to vote on the resolution 1888 as amended with the two amendments. Please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, would you tally the vote?
You have 20 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Thank you. Okay, under unfinished business, we have the county clerk's report. This is going to require approval by the commission. Ms. Jackson?
Comes Kelly A. Jackson, County Clerk, Montgomery County, Tennessee, and presents the County Clerk's report for the month of July 2018. I hereby request that the persons named on the list of new applicants to the office of Notary Public be elected. The oaths of the judicial commissioners, deputy county officials, and sheriff's deputies are approved as taken. This report shall be spread upon the minutes of the Board of County Commissioners. You do not have any names that need to be read into the minutes for bond purposes, and you received your list of applicants last week for notaries. None of those are signed by personal surety.
We need a motion. Commissioner Creek, is there a second? Commissioner Gannon? Everyone, please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, will you tally the vote?
You have 20 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Thank you. Under unfinished business, we have the reports filed. You'll see in your handout, only the last two are new, so look through those. You should have that information. Next, we're under nominating committee nominations. I'm going to ask Commissioner Nichols to speak to that. Commissioner Nichols?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We'll need to
Need a motion to suspend the rules first?
Yes, thank you. We need a motion to suspend the rules. Is that a motion made by you?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Gannon? Second, Commissioner Vallejos. Please register your vote to suspend the rules. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, will you tally the vote?
You have 20 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
All right, Commissioner Nichols.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Commissioners, these are in the way of a motion, and the reason for this is the nominating committee, and this is putting in place and setting up the new commission for their committees. The nominating committee met today, the 13th of August, and I'll simply read into the minutes the following recommendations and nominations. In Geographic Area 1, Commissioner John Gannon's term does not expire until January 2019, so there's no change. In Geographic Area 2, Commissioner Jerry Albert is nominated to fill the unexpired term of Commissioner Robert Gibbs, term to expire January 2020. In Geographic Area 3, Commissioner Arnold Hodges is nominated to fill the unexpired term of Commissioner Audrey Tooley, term to expire January 2019. In Geographic Area 4, Commissioner Charlie Keene is nominated to fill the unexpired term of Commissioner Tommy Vallejos, term to expire January 2020. In Geographic Area 5, Commissioner Joe Creek is nominated to fill the unexpired term of Commissioner Robert Nichols, term to expire January 2019, and that's no way of a motion.
Thank you. Is there a second? Commissioner Butts? Please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, will you tally the vote?
You have 16 yeses, 0 nos, 4 abstentions.
Thank you. Under county mayor appointments, no approval is necessary, but I'm going to read these for the record. Montgomery County Fair Committee, it's a 2-year term. Condra Smalley appointed to serve another 2-year term to expire August 2020. Jerry Albert appointed to serve another 2-year term to expire August 2020. Steve Gursky appointed to serve another 2-year term to expire August 2020. John Gannon appointed to serve another 2-year term to expire August 2020. Commissioner Charlie Keene appointed to replace Commissioner Joe Wyant for a 2-year term to expire August 2020. Under announcements, there's a reminder due to the Labor Day holiday, the September informal meeting will be on Tuesday, September 4th, beginning at 6 p.m. You were sent an email inviting you to a welcoming reception for all Montgomery County elected officials on Tuesday, September 4th, beginning at 4 p.m. in the large conference room, immediately followed by the oath of office ceremony, which will take place in County Commission chambers at 5 p.m. If you have not done so, please RSVP to Debbie Gentry as soon as possible. The Tennessee County Commissioners Association regional meeting this year will be held September 13th at the Catfish House in Springfield, Tennessee, beginning with the registration at 5:30 and a meal at 6. Again, please let Debbie know if you plan to attend. Skip wanted me to point out that if you are not serving next term, please turn in your iPads and chargers before you leave tonight, and be sure you write down the PIN number on something or get him the PIN number. Otherwise, I want to say to all the commissioners who aren't serving next term, I want to thank you. It's been a pleasure. I want to thank you for your service to all of us in Montgomery County. Any other business before this commission? Is there a motion to adjourn? Commissioner Vallejo, second by Commissioner Gannon. We don't vote, do we? Please register your vote. We don't vote. We're out. I'm already out the door. Oh, Sheriff.
I'll officially close the meeting, and I want to echo what Mayor Pro Tem Riccone said on the 12 outgoing commissioners. I thank you for your service and your time in this commission. It was an honor to work with you. Now, all rise. Oh yes, this Honorable Board of County Commissioners now stands adjourned. Now may God save this state and this very honorable Board of County Commissioners. Thank you.